The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports. Live from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison, this is the Chris Ash Show. Your chance to talk with the head coach of the Scarlet Knights on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by To be a part of the show, give us a call at 1-877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Now, let's go live to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison to talk Rutgers football.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Chris Ash Show here at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison, New Jersey. Chris Carlin alongside Eric LeGrand. E, good to have you back this week.
Hey, good to be back as always. Love to talk some football.
Oh, yes, and off to victory this past weekend over Morgan State is Rutgers head coach Chris Ash. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to have E back with us.
It is.
The Fooch did a nice job, but Eric's much better looking. Fooch. So.
Our telephone number, 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. You can also tweet your questions for Coach Ash at Rutgers Radio. And if you're here in attendance tonight at Quaker Steak and Lube, by all means, come see our man Jimmy in the Rutgers shirt right over here, and we will get you on the air with Coach. And let's take a look back before we take a look forward at the matchup, the Big Ten opener this week on the road at Nebraska. But a 65-0 win over Morgan State, and certainly from front to back, I would say pretty much what the doctor ordered for your team this past Saturday.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. But it was great to get a win. Really happy for our guys. They've worked extremely hard. They've invested a lot. And when you go out on Saturday and you come up short for that many Saturdays in a row, it's tough. And, it was just great to watch those guys smile and celebrate in the locker room when it was over. That's what we needed. That we went out and played the type of game we needed to play, and if that would have been a close ball game, obviously we wouldn't have been very pleased by our performance. But that's what we needed, and happy for our guys, and hopefully we create some momentum moving forward.
Coach, what's it like breaking down the film when you have so many different guys that are actually playing on the field at one time? You get a bunch of these freshmen out there, but it's not your normal, regular, say 25 guys that are in there playing. So what is that like breaking down the film afterwards when you have so many people that you have to evaluate?
And sometimes you got to check the roster numbers, and see who's out there, because sometimes their jersey number on the field might be different than what was in practice, just because of duplicates and stuff like that. But it's great just to see the enthusiasm and excitement for some of those guys that don't necessarily get in a game to be able to get out there and get a rep. It's awesome to see their smiles when they're running off the field, and that's what it's all about, to be able to give those guys opportunities that work so hard every single day, that might be just scout team guys, and they've been that for a couple of years, and they get a chance to run down on a kickoff or hold up somebody on a punt return, or go out and get a rep on offense or defense. It's just a great feeling for everybody.
Got 71 players into the game the other day,
wow.
And not even those guys, but also just a continued opportunity to get some of the younger guys who may need to be called upon later on this year some more game experience, and that can be invaluable, right?
There's no doubt. When you take your ones out and you put your twos in that may not necessarily have any game experience, because we have a number of them, it's great work for them. And you get a chance to see what they can do out on the field against an opponent, and not just in practice. So it's a great opportunity for player development as much as anything. And there's good field stories and things like that, but player development is so important in those type of games.
And as you mentioned player development, I was going to say, what is it like for them to play actually Rutgers football instead of lining up and looking at a card and doing what another team is doing, but actually getting to do what you guys are imploded into the system?
Yeah, it's a really key part of the evaluation process to find out where they're at when they can go out on the field and actually be able to be given an opportunity to go compete and see what they can do. And I can tell you that we had some good surprises on Saturday when guys got those opportunities, whether it be freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or some older guys that maybe haven't had the opportunity to get out there yet. There were some guys that actually went out there and performed exceptionally well.
Who were you particularly pleased with? Who were you particularly, like you said, the good surprises? Who did you look at after seeing the film?
Well, we had a lot of freshmen that played. I know that's been well talked about. We'll start on the offensive side. Jonathan Lewis, obviously 4 touchdowns, did a great job. You got a lot of help from a lot of people to get the ball down in the red zone like we did, and then he came in and finished drives. Raheem Blackshear did a great job. There were some offensive linemen that haven't played yet that did a great job, and Mike Maietti's a redshirt freshman who actually started the game, played well. We had a number of freshmen or redshirt freshmen get in on the offensive line. Bo Melton, a true freshman, caught his first pass. Those are all guys on the offensive side. And then on the defensive side, 2 of our linebackers, Rashawn Battle, redshirt freshman, got an interception. Tyshawn Fong got his first opportunity in game and got an interception. So, again, just in all 3 phases, we got a lot of guys out there, and really happy for them.
And as you mentioned, all 3 phases, a lot of people might overlook this, but you have Janae Grant for so many years back there catching punt returns, but Hunter High kept throwing a freshman in there and being able to rely on him with his hands. How was that?
Well, what I really like about Hunter is he's just so reliable. He's smart, he's tough, he's dependable, and when he's back there as a punt returner, typically he makes such really good decisions, and that's a big part of being a punt returner. It's not just the ability to take the ball and go get big returns. It's the decision-making process that typically can make you a good or bad punt returner. I think he's got great decision-making skills, and really excited that he's been able to get out there as a true freshman and do some of those things.
Our telephone number, once again, 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. Tweet us your questions for Coach Ash at Rutgers Radio. We're going to talk an awful lot about the matchup with the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and also Rutgers running backs coach Lester Erb going to join us here tonight at Quaker Steak and Lube. With Jonathan in particular, just the process of being a quarterback, everything that goes into it. How did he handle that process from his first extended playing time?
He did a great job, and it really, when you talk about the process, it really gets back to the process of preparation. I think he had 2 snaps in the previous 2 games before the Morgan State game, and but he just kept coming to work every single day and studying film and studying the game plan and going out and getting practice reps, just waiting for that opportunity, and he made the most of it. He did a great job of checking plays and reading the defense and protecting the football and making passes and running the ball, and really proud of him. And it's really the best part about it is just his focus on his preparation as much as the performance.
How important is it for Kyle and Jonathan both to feel comfortable with the offense so they can be able to develop a rhythm with the wide receivers, because everyone delivers the ball differently. Some may harder, faster, how to, just a rapport with the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs. How important is it to be able to have those reps split in practice?
It is really important, and that's a tough task to do that, to get 2 and really 3 quarterbacks with Gio game ready. That's really tough. Your one quarterback typically takes the majority of all the reps. I think Coach Kill's done a great job of getting Jonathan probably more practice reps than a typical backup would to try to help him develop and get game ready for his opportunities. But it is very important to make sure that your quarterback is on the same page with their wide receivers in terms of just formations and making sure they're getting lined up right, splits are right, the routes are right, reading coverages together, and being on the same page. And that comes through just a ton of preparation and work together in practice and even in the summer.
Yeah, you mentioned the offensive line, and you briefly mentioned Michael Maietti. Give me a sense of some of those younger guys that got a chance to play in this game, because it's one of those positions where maybe among all the positions on the field where depth is perhaps more important than anywhere else.
Yeah, and depth is a real concern on the offensive line. You look at the experience of our starting unit and the lack of experience with our second unit. There's a big gap there. But Mike Maietti came in for Jonah Jackson, who was out with an injury. He'll be back this week, but Maietti made his first start as a redshirt freshman, did an outstanding job. Mike Lonsdorf got some reps at left tackle. Micah Clark got some reps. Nick Crimmen got some reps in there. There's some other guys. Those are the ones that came to mind that played the most reps as young players. Zach Vineski got some reps in there, hasn't played a whole lot in the past. So really excited about watching those guys grow. They work really hard, and just to get that opportunity was great. And they did a good job.
Can you talk about what goes into the decision process of bringing up somebody maybe from the scout team that may get some game playing time, and how do you rotate them back to the scout team so they give a good look, but also get game ready for when their opportunity comes? Yeah,
I mean, it's really a tough challenge, for a player to play on scout team and get game ready. That's a tough task to get done. And What we try to do is rotate players. A guy that maybe be rotating with the twos, and on the scout team, we'll rotate him through practice so he's at least getting some opportunities to get some rep with the twos and work our calls. And they're not down there on the scout team full time unless they're probably a redshirt guy or not going to play. But we do a good job, I think, of rotating guys from the scout team to the twos and getting those reps.
I'll tell you what, in special teams, one thing that was very noticeable, your coverage teams are doing exceptionally well right now, especially on kickoffs. You have Justin Davidovitz, who has been kicking off in either very high and right at the goal line or the touchback, and your coverage last week in particular was outstanding, and now that's, I believe, got you in the top 15 in the country in that category, if I'm not mistaken.
They better do a good job. I coach the damn unit. Kidding. But I'm very pleased with the progress that our special teams have made, especially our coverage units. We have blocked a couple kicks this year. We blocked a field goal attempt versus Eastern Michigan in a critical situation. We blocked a punt last Saturday against Morgan State. Just had an opportunity to block another one. You mentioned our kickoff coverage. Justin Davidovitz is a true freshman. He's done an outstanding job with the kickoffs, and really it's made the difference in our coverage because of the hang time and distance that we're able to get on the kick. Gives our coverage a chance to get down inside the 25, and when you can do that, obviously you're going to limit the return yards that a return team can get. An area that we've got to continue to develop and get better at is our net punting, and that's hurt a little bit because of the long punt return we gave up in the first game. But we can do better with our net punting, especially in pooch punt situations, try to get them pinned inside the 10. But overall, is our specialty with our special teams units, all the hard work and time and effort that we've put in here in the offseason and spring and training camp, I think is starting to pay off. Now we got to continue that trend as we go into conference play.
And as you mentioned, this usually have more time in the spring and everything to develop on the special team side. But when it comes to game planning during the week, how much time do you spend in on the field goal unit? And put them in pressure situations during a week of preparation instead of when you have maybe more time in the summer or in the spring.
Yeah, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, our field goal unit's out on the practice field getting kicks. And we've got a little set of practice where we've got a script we go through with the situations, and then periodically throughout the body of practice, I'll blow the whistle and put the ball down and see if they can go perform in an unpredictable situation. And we did that a lot in training camp just to try to identify who our field goal kicker was going to be, and I think it helped us. But Ryan Hart right now I think is kicking the ball exceptionally well. He's really improved in practice. He's getting more comfortable. He's making his kicks in games. Hadn't had a lot of long distance opportunities since the first game, but the opportunities he's making them, and happy with the way he's hitting the ball right now.
Real quick, we'll get our first Twitter question in before we take our first break of the night. Again, our telephone number 877-384-1869. You can tweet us your questions for Coach Ash at Rutgers Radio. This is from Steve on Twitter. Coach, asking specifically about a guy you mentioned in Raheem Blackshear. Is he somebody that we may see more of as the season goes along? There's absolutely a chance we'll see more of him as he continues to develop and learn the offense. I think last Saturday was just a glimpse of what he can do. And, the tough part of it is he's sitting behind some other pretty good running backs. Yeah. And it's tough to keep everybody happy and get everybody touches, in that backfield right now. But he'll have his opportunities, whether it be at running back, receiver, kick returner, whatever it is. He'll have his opportunities and plenty of them over the next 9 weeks. Well, we'll start hitting the phones when we come back. We'll talk more about the matchup with Nebraska in just moments. This is this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. We're live at Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison, New Jersey on Route 1. Stay with us on RVision on ScarletKnights.com and also on 1450 WCTC. Back in a moment.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source, TixCity.com. That's TIXCITY.com.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
When Samantha was in dire need of a new heart, she turned to RWJ Barnabas Health, who performs more adult heart transplants than any healthcare system on the East Coast.
I'm still here.
Jean cherishes every moment spent with her great-grandkids, thanks to our kidney transplant program that ranks among the nation's top 10.
Still here.
Robert promised his granddaughter he'd make it to her next birthday. Thanks to New Jersey's only lung transplant center, he did.
I'm not going anywhere.
From corneal and pancreatic transplants to heart, kidney, and lung, our patients aren't who they used to be. They're better. Learn more about our transplant centers at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center, St. Barnabas Medical Center, and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Visit rwjbh.org/transplant. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
We have returned to Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison, New Jersey, Route 1. Come on by for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Our telephone number is 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. Let us take our first call of the night. That is Mike in Paramus. Mike, what's going on? You're on the Chris Ash Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
We're great.
That's what I like to hear. The game this past weekend was an incredible way that you guys bounced back after Eastern Michigan. I want to just say that I was expecting, I told guys I'd like to see 52-7. You guys coming out doing 66-0 was over and top. So just wanted to say, great job on that. But talking about comebacks after a tough loss, we recently just saw Nebraska losing to Northern Illinois. That was a tough loss for them, their program, something we somewhat went through with Eastern Michigan. Do you expect that type of, bounce back the way that we bounce back? And, how do we kind of handle that? Because I would expect that they're ready to kind of, hit us with everything that they have. So just wanted to see what you think about that.
Yeah, whether they lost last week or not, it's a new season. It's a Big Ten opener. Their team will be ready to play. And everybody bounces back and handles adversity different. I think it really depends on what you have in your locker room, the chemistry and brotherhood you have in your locker room, and the relationship you have between your players and your coaches that helps you bounce back. And, I can't speak on what they have in their program. I can only speak on what ours is. And I think the way we bounce back was a great testament to our players and their resolve and their grit and the relationships we have inside of our football complex. And but again, it's a new season. Each week's a different week, and you've got to come prepared every week to play. I don't care what the situation is, what the previous week's results were. If you don't come ready to play, you're not going to have a chance for success. And we need to be ready to play regardless of what Nebraska's mindset is, how they've prepared, what their thoughts are, or game plan is. We need to be able to play our best football game, and whether they won or lost last week, that doesn't really matter.
Appreciate the phone call, Mike. Thanks very much for checking in. So let's talk about the Cornhuskers a little bit. Their head coach, Mike Riley, one of the certainly respected coaches in the country, had long sustained success up at Oregon State. Is he a guy that you've crossed paths with much at all? Do you know Coach Riley well at all from just your travels as a coach?
I don't know him well. I've met him, talked to him, and competed against him when I was at Wisconsin. He was at Oregon State. We played Oregon State twice, once in Madison, once up at Corvallis. Got to know, know what he was all about at that time. But I don't know him well at all, but we've talked. I've got a ton of respect for him. He's been a successful college coach and NFL coach, and he's done a great job everywhere he's been. And, Nebraska's no different.
I always want to know what those conversations were like, when two new coaches are taking over new programs, coming from different places, and then you get the opportunity to have a conversation with each other? How do those usually go?
Yeah, it's usually small talk. It's hey, how are you? And good luck this year and all that type of stuff. But he seems like a great guy. And everybody that does know him that I know, they speak highly of him.
Let's talk about Nebraska, the team, a little bit. Tommy Armstrong has moved on. He's one of those guys that felt like he was there for about 35 years.
Yes, that other day, Chris, yes.
Yeah. But he was a terrific quarterback, and they have Tanner Lee, a transfer from Tulane now. So what have you seen from their offense? Is it any different now than it was? And I know you didn't play him last year, but from what you remember versus with Tommy Armstrong at the helm.
Yeah, it's completely different. I shouldn't say it's completely different. It's probably about 70% of it's different. Obviously, Tommy Armstrong's skill set was different. Their offense is right now it's a typical Mike Riley offense from what he used at Oregon State. A lot of zone running, some pin pull, outside run plays, a lot of play action. Tanner Lee's got a very strong arm, smart player, fits into their system and what they want to do exceptionally well. But they want to be a team that can run the ball and play action and stay ahead of schedule and move the ball. And that's what they're trying to do.
And as so far you've seen, they have 4 out of 5 returning starters on the offensive line, but kind of a little bit of struggle up in the very beginning. You see some of the pressures that can confuse with. As you watch down, break down the film, what have you seen maybe that on the offensive side where they could improve?
Again, not being in their locker room, their coaches, meetings. It's hard for me to really say what they really need to improve on. I mean, I would think that they would. Probably say they've got to be more consistent, and we say the same thing about our football team also. They've had opportunities to win games, and I feel the same way about our football team, and we just didn't get it done. And there were plays out there that we left out there, and I would assume that their coaching staff and players probably feel the exact same way about their football team right now.
Once again, if you have a question for Coach and you're in attendance here at Quaker Steak and Lube, come on up and see our man Jimmy, and we will get you on the air. Let's go back to the phones right now, 877-384-1869. We welcome in Dick from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Dick, how are you? You're on the Chris Ash Show.
Fine. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hey, listen, Coach, I'd like to know what's the status of Jadarian Grant?
In terms of?
I didn't see him get much playing time this past week.
Well, the score kind of got out of hand, and we wanted to protect Janarian. Obviously, he's battled a pretty serious foot injury and recovering from that. He got a couple good whacks in that game, and once the score got out of hand, we said there's no reason to put him in harm's way. That's really what that was all about. Just there was no reason to continue to play him after we were up. I don't know what it was, 34-0 there at half or 35-0 at half.
All right.
Okay, then. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate the call.
All right, Dick. Thanks for checking in with us tonight. A little bit more on Janarian. He's got 5 more catches before he hits 100 for his career. But his development over the last 2 years as a receiver, even though his action was limited last year, really remarkable. Tell me about Janarian and how he has improved in that regard. Yeah,
he really has done a great job of improving. He has not played a lot of games at receiver. He did last year for the first 3.5 games until, he got hurt, and he has in the first 3 games of this season. So he has not played a lot of receiver, but he continues to develop. I thought really at the end of the Eastern Michigan game was probably the best I've seen him. He was running routes, he was catching balls, pretty much anything in his area, and he was just feeling it. It was one of those moments you're like, hey, keep feeding this guy the ball. And it kind of
had that feel like he wanted the ball.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think just understanding how to run routes and the science behind running routes and being precise with his breaks, in and out of breaks, and he's always had great hands. It's the route running and recognizing what defenses are doing and things like that. He's really developed in that area.
Another guy that's really stepping up that's becoming a big factor in the offense is Jerome Washington, and he looks like a matchup nightmare. He runs past the linebackers, but he's too big for safeties to cover. Can you talk a little bit about him and how you've been able to utilize him in offense?
Yeah, I love Jerome Washington. We knew last year when he was on the scout team because of the transfer that we got a good one, and just the way he worked and some of the plays that he made on the scout team against our first-team defense was really impressive. And I think he's the total package. He's a guy that can block at the point of attack. He can cut you off on the backside. He can run routes. He can catch the short balls. He can catch the deep balls. And like you mentioned, he can create mismatches at times. And I really like him. Hope we can get a few more like him for down the road. But Jerome's a great kid. He works really hard. He's humbled. He's hungry and just wants to be the best he can be, and he's doing a great job right now.
Going on the road for the first time this year. Younger players, first time they get a chance to experience that. Take me inside what a road trip and the preparation for it is like for a head coach, especially when it shortens your week just a bit.
Yeah, it is a little different. We're looking forward to a road trip. We played 3 straight games at home, and sometimes when you go on the road, especially in a tough environment like Lincoln is, it can bring your team close together. And we're really looking at it this way. It's a business trip. We're going out to, go out and try to play the best that we can play and bring our team close together and take our show on the road. But there's just so many distractions that can go along with the road game that you got to try to eliminate as you go through the week with, your ID and getting packed and, if you got tickets for road games and all that the stuff, if you got family members going. So we just educate our players on what we expect on the road, and we do have to prepare things a little bit earlier, especially late in the week, so we're ready to go when it's time.
And you mentioned distractions, Coach. How hard is it for a coaching staff to also be, aware of that stuff? I believe Ryan Dunleavy came out with an article today. There's nothing within 202 miles of Lincoln, Nebraska. So it's going to be a sellout crowd, loud and everything like that, which is crazy to hear. But what is that? How do you
leave
keep
it to Ryan?
Exactly. How do you keep yourself from also getting distracted too, just with that energy from in the stadium?
When you put the headset on, that really blocks everything out, and it's about focus, just like the players have to do. One of the things I have learned in my career, though, that I think it is important as a coach or a player, every now and then you find that opportunity to just stand there and look around the stadium and appreciate what we actually get to do on Saturdays. You're going into a place like Lincoln, Nebraska that's been sold out. Games have been sold out for 55 straight years or something like that. It's incredible. I'll strongly encourage our players, pregame or whatever, to find that moment to just take a deep breath and soak it up and just be grateful for what we get a chance to do. And I think coaches need to do that too. And then it's time to go to battle.
We've got our first question here in attendance tonight from friendly familiar face. Sir, remind us your name and where you're from.
Jim from North Brunswick.
James, how are you?
Coach, congratulations on a big win. Question. Jonathan Lewis really jumped off the page to a lot of us this past week. The first question is, when he passed to Nakia Griffith, the tight end, was that a design play or was that a run-pass option play? And secondly, is he pushing so hard that he could end up being our starter?
We'll talk about the play first. That is what we call an RPO, runner pass option, based on what the defense does, and basically reading the linebackers, and he did a great job of reading it and then completing the pass to Nakia, for the touchdown. But most offenses have some of those built in now, and are really tough defensively. But in terms of our starter, Kyle's our starter, and Kyle's the one that everyone has trust and faith and belief in to lead our offense. But we do like the progress that Jonathan Lewis is bringing. We love the element that he brings to our offense. It's a different dynamic than Kyle. And we're just going to keep pressing on with the way that we're doing it right now. And hopefully both of them push each other to keep getting better.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Jim, let's hit back to the phones right now. Hell all the way down to Florida. We check in with Nancy in Sanibel. Nancy, you're on the Chris Ash Show. How are you?
Hi, we're doing good. Thank you. This is Nancy and Rick Richmond from Sanibel, Florida.
Hey, Nancy.
Season ticket holders. Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Appreciate the call.
I know you. Good. Listen, we just want to say to the team, and especially the kids who we have family and friends and many, many fans down here in Florida, we've just been through a tremendous hurricane, and we've been without power and without water. And if they need any motivation to go out to Nebraska and kick some butt, come on, guys. Florida is all in.
Well, we appreciate that, especially our players from Florida would appreciate that message, and I'll pass that along. But, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody down there in Florida through this hurricane season. And I know you guys have been through a lot, and it just helps us really appreciate what we get to do when people are going through what you guys do in real life, and the fact that we get to play football, the way we get to and coach it the way we get to really means a lot.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Coach. And I just really, like I say, I want to encourage the kids that, Florida is all behind them.
Well, thank you. If you got any more players down there, send them our way.
Thank you, Nancy. We appreciate you checking in, and certainly we wish you the best. And it has been an incredibly difficult situation in Florida. Everybody who has been dealing with the hurricanes over the last few weeks, just really remarkable. Well, when we come back, we've got more to discuss with Rutgers heading out to Nebraska to take on the Cornhuskers this coming Saturday. We will visit with Rutgers assistant coach, the running backs coach, Lester Erb. That is coming up in just a bit. Stay with us for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Live at Quaker Steak and Lube.
ESPN's Neil Everett here. This college football season, Nissan's putting you in the driver's seat. Go to NissanHeismanHouse.com. Build a customized Titan wrapped in your school's colors. Then register for a chance to win it. Or you can win a trip to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Enter the Nissan Heisman House Sweepstakes. Take on today. Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends 12/8/17. Open to residents of USDC 18 and older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes. Sponsored by Nissan North America.
You're on the couch watching the game, and your friend hands you an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. This is a big moment. That's the sound you love. And that new and improved taste? Yeah, that's the refreshing, delicious, real Coca-Cola taste that you just can't get enough of. All this with zero sugar and 0 calories. Perfection. And then, touchdown! Refresh your game day with the new and improved taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
Download the all-new Rutgers Game Day app today. Up-to-the-minute news sent right to your phone. Interactive game updates, official sideline gear, live stats, free live audio, comprehensive game day maps, real-time social streams, and more. Available in the App Store and Google Play. Get all the latest in everything Scarlet Knights athletics.
He's got it for the Rutgers touchdown!
The Rutgers Game Day app. Download today.
Welcome back, everybody, as we return for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Rutgers taking on Nebraska out in Lincoln this coming Saturday. Excuse me, frog in my throat. We want to welcome everybody watching on RVision on ScarletKnights.com and also on 1450 WCTC in New Brunswick. Happy to welcome in Rutgers' new running backs coach. Joined us this past offseason, and he is very familiar with the Big Ten through and through. He is Lester Erb. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. It's great to get out and actually get around the community here a little bit with the season going on. You don't get out a whole lot, and I do know one way. I know how to get from my office to my home right now and back to my office, but I haven't really gotten a chance since the season started really to get out a whole lot.
Well, welcome to the East Coast. I hope it's treating you well so far.
Eric, the highlight of my stay here in New Jersey has really been to meet you. I followed your story along the way, and it's just truly a pleasure to get a chance to meet you.
Great. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate that.
Coach, first of all, tell us a little bit about your background. You spent so many years at Iowa, so ingrained in Big Ten football there. Just take us through your progression as a football coach and your career as it's moved along.
Well, I was pretty fortunate at a young age to, run in with Kirk Ferentz. I worked with him at the Baltimore Ravens for a couple years, and when he went out to Iowa, he was, a good enough guy to bring me out there and spent really 12 years out there. And, obviously being a young coach and just getting started in the best conference in the country, I grew a lot as a person. I grew a lot as a coach, and it's just been a great ride for me.
But I will say this: it's great to be back in the Big Ten and being back in at Rutgers.
And Coach, you're a running backs coach coming from Iowa. You know they like to pound the ball, and you've been there throughout the years. And now you come here to Rutgers, and you get 3 guys that are seniors at the running back, and you get now Raheem Blackshear, who's a freshman. And what's it like now, coaching? Going by running back by committee, finding the right guy at the right time, hitting who's hot. How does that all come along with the process?
Well, the one thing I've always kind of looked at is the guys that have earned their way through practice and preparation are guys that deserve to play. And over the past couple of years, I've kind of gotten into playing more than one tailback. Tailbacks have only so many hits in their career. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And if you can have 2 or 3 guys that can play throughout the game, they're going to be fresher. They're going to be more productive throughout the game. And I've never run into a room like I have here where I got 4 or 5 guys that can play. But keeping all those guys happy, those guys have done a great job. But, I've been pretty blessed to come here and have the type of talent that I have in that room.
Well, let's talk about those guys individually. First of all, Gus Edwards coming in, the graduate transfer from Miami. What has he brought to that running back room? And when you describe him as a player, how do you describe him?
Well, I think the first thing that really impressed me the most about Gus is just his professionalism, how he attacks every single day, how he prepares each and every week. Gus is a true professional, just the way he approaches the game and the way he prepares for game. And he's really setting a great standard for that room, especially for the young guys in the room. He and Rob Martin have a great relationship right now. And really they kind of setting the standard in that running back room as far as the way you need to prepare, the way you need to work. And we have some young guys that are really doing a good job of following them, and they're great role models for us.
And as you mentioned, when you have so many different running backs that can play in a game, how hard is it, I guess, for them not to take a day off in practice? Because if they do, they may not get as many carries in during the week.
Yeah, you sound like you're in our room, Eric. I kind of remind them of that every day. That hey, you got to go out and work hard, and you got to earn it every single day. And the great thing is we have competition in that room, so those guys really can't take a day off.
Well, 2 of the guys that you have in the room are guys that have been here for a while and have been productive for a while, with Rob and with Josh Hicks. Describe what you see in them as their strengths as running backs.
Really, when you look at Rob is really a downhill type of back, and he's a really physical back that can run through a lot of tackles. And the biggest thing with Rob is, just making sure that he understands he's not Barry Sanders, and he and I have had that conversation. It's about getting your pads square, playing aggressive, playing like a 215-pound back, which he is, and just being a physical back, and he's really bought into that. Josh is really a big back also, but Josh has a little bit more wiggle. And the biggest thing with Josh right now is, he's kind of waiting for his next opportunity for us. But the way he goes out and prepares and everything, I've just been pleased with both of them.
As you just mentioned, those 2, one brings that downhill speed with Robert Myers. You can see when he hits the hole, he hits it hard, and he falls forward every single time. And then Josh, a little bit of wiggle. But there was something different about Blackshear. As I was telling Chris and Ray, I was watching him. That's going to be my guy. There's something that got that elite speed that you can't coach up, that one cut and go. Can you talk a little bit about him and how excited you are to coach him up?
I was hoping I coached that one cut and go, Eric, but I know that's recruited, that's not coached. And the thing about Raheem is a lot like Gus in that he's mature beyond his age. This isn't a typical 18-year-old freshman walking in the room. This is a guy that really goes about his trade as a 25 or 26-year-old. He studies the game, and the great thing about Raheem is whenever he gets his opportunities, he makes the most of it. And the biggest thing is we're going to be finding ways to get him the ball and get him more involved in the offense.
What has allowed him to contribute as early in his career as he has?
It's really just his approach to the game. Football is important to him, and when football is important to guys, they go out and they work, they prepare, and they watch film. They do all the things necessary, and that's why it shows up on Saturdays for him.
Hello. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, as going forward, a lot of people with running backs, you always see them carrying the ball. But talk about a little bit about pass protection and how they fit in that scheme of things, and also how that can, talk about getting playing time as well, because you don't want to mess up a third down protection, then you don't get carries as well.
Yeah, that is for sure. We've got to trust those guys to win the game to understand their pass protections, and in all honesty, we talk to our guys about, hey, as long as you hold on to the ball and as long as you protect the quarterback, anything else you do after that as a running back is really a bonus. And that's the way I want those guys to think. Because if you don't protect the quarterback, obviously you can't get the ball, but then all of a sudden now you have a sack fumble, and that's never good. You kind of like that when you were playing defense, right?
Of course I do.
Okay.
He played running back too, though.
We don't want those.
He played some running back too, though.
My whole life.
A lot of Colonial. That's for sure.
But the biggest thing is we got to be able to trust those guys to go in and perform all the duties that running backs have to perform.
With that in mind, for younger guys, how long generally does it take to kind of grasp everything that goes into pass protection, what your assignments are on particular plays?
Again, really, most times in my experience is freshmen come in and really struggle with that.
Yeah.
It usually takes a good year for them to have a really full understanding of pass protections and the concepts, understanding what the offensive line does, because that is as important as anything for a running back, is truly understanding what the offensive line does, because it makes their responsibilities a lot easier. So a lot of guys coming out of high school have never had to do it. They've never had to prepare that way. Most of them have never had to pass protect. Now the thing with Raheem is, just going back to what his makeup is he understands those things because he has studied it since he's gotten here. And the little guy is awfully tough too. I mean, he'll step up and pick guys up, and that continues to build our trust in him.
Yeah, you showed some power running the ball last week too. Running guys over, but also being able to use that speed to get around the corner and run for a touchdown. But as I'm going back to thinking now, we talked about how all these guys are getting in the game and things like that. What goes into the decision into a game of what guy is going to go out there on each possession?
Yeah, well, right now we really kind of have a rotation going with Gus and Rob and Josh. We want to try and get more involved too. And then Raheem has kind of had certain packages that he'll go in and play for. It just gets hard being able to rotate everybody through all four series. But at some point, we're going to have to go more than 2 deep throughout the season, and those guys understand that, and they go out and prepare every day because, shoot, I've been in games where the top 2 tailbacks go down, and then all of a sudden the 3rd and 4th guys have got to go in and play, and the other team doesn't care. All right, you've got to go in and you've got to perform to help your team.
Rutgers running backs coach Lester Erb is our guest on this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. You have another guy in that room that we've seen before, and that's Trey Smith that we saw last year. He's going to redshirt this year because you will have 3 seniors moving on after this season. But Trey's a guy with an awful lot of ability, and when you're as crowded as you are, this can be a real beneficial year for him in getting ready for next year.
Yeah, no question, and I think that went into the decision-making process of redshirting Trey, and that. Not saying he would have gotten limited carries this year, but we have 3 seniors that are proven guys that have gone out and done it, and Trey is perfectly capable too. I mean, I have complete trust in him, but it comes down to looking for the future and looking for his future and for our future, that we have another experienced guy in the backfield coming back next year.
Can you talk a little bit about now the weight of these guys? Some of these guys, Gus looks pretty big in there, and then also Blackshear, he looked like he gained some weight from when he was a little recruit coming in out of high school, and then Robert Martin is strong. So can you talk about the strength and conditioning of the running backs and how you like to see them?
Yeah, I think running backs come in all shapes and sizes, but the big thing about playing in the Big Ten and being a durable back, for the most part, you got to be a bigger back and a stronger back, and obviously Coach Parker has done a great job with those guys in the weight room. But going back to Raheem again, I think Raheem weighed in at like 161 or 165 pounds when he weighed in the first day, and now he's up to close to 185. And but you got to get in the weight room and be durable. And all 3, the other 3 guys we talked about are all over 200 pounds and durable guys, but they're also 22 and 23-year-old seniors.
You mentioned the Big Ten and being a running back here. Do you have, as a running backs coach, an ideal running back that you like?
No, again, they come in all shapes and sizes. The biggest thing is, are they productive? Do they gain yards? And you look at, fortunately, I coached a guy at Iowa by the name of Sean Green that was 5'11", 235 pounds, and then you also look at another guy by the name of Freddie Russell who was 5'8", 190 pounds, and both were very productive backs. So really, it comes down to, are they productive? Do they gain yards? Are they, trustworthy in pass protection? They come in all different shapes and sizes.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you something now, I guess, about New Jersey. You said that you haven't got a lot of time out there yet. You wanted to meet me, but what else are you looking forward to see about New Jersey and what it offers?
Well, here's the crazy thing, Eric. I'm from Pennsylvania. My wife is from Westchester County in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing, we have our whole family around here. In-laws in New Jersey. My parents still live in Pennsylvania, so actually when we do get a little bit of time off, we're usually spending time with family, which I haven't really gotten to do in the last 17 years.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming by and spending some time with us tonight, and best of luck this week and, of course, the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Rutgers running backs coach Lester Erb with us here at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison on Route 1. We'll take a timeout, come back, talk more about the matchup with Nebraska in just a bit. This is the Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
For Rutgers fans, Saturday is game day. For business owners, it's another day in your work week. UPS gets that, and that's why they offer Saturday delivery so you can keep things running smoothly even while your customers drop everything for the game. Stay on top of your game. Ship with UPS, official logistics company of Rutgers Athletics.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
You're on the couch watching the game, and your friend hands you an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. This is a big moment. That's the sound you love. And that new and improved taste? Yeah, that's the refreshing, delicious, real Coca-Cola taste that you just can't get enough of. All this with zero sugar and 0 calories. Perfection. And then, touchdown! Refresh your game day with the new and improved taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling.
Last time on College Sports Now.
You have to have dessert. When you get a full belly, all right, and I use this with my kids will tell me this, there's always a little space to fit a little creme brulee around. Now that it's like a pudding style with a little glaze on top. It fits in all of the nooks and crannies left in your belly.
Listen to College Sports Now, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, exclusively on TuneIn, and follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets. TuneIn, your everything audio app.
We have returned on the Chris Ash Show here on Wednesday night. It is yet another edition as Rutgers prepares for Nebraska this coming Saturday. It is a 3:30 Eastern kick out at Lincoln at Memorial Stadium, and it is a unique place to play, 100,000 fans. For the kids that haven't been in that situation before, can you even prepare them for it, or is it just, you talk about you mentioned earlier, just you enjoy it for a second, but then you got to go on and understand that we have work to do.
It's hard to prepare them for an environment like that. I've been fortunate in my career. I've been either a coach on home side or a visiting side of some of the best venues in college football. Lincoln ranks right up there with the best of them. It's just the pageantry of game day there is outstanding, and it's hard to simulate that or educate the players on what to expect until they actually get into that environment and see it and appreciate it.
Are you the type that uses the crowd noise in practice against the offense, so they know a little bit to try to experience it a little bit?
Yeah, we have used crowd noise this week since it's our first road game, and we're going to go to a sellout crowd. We've used it a little bit this week, and I think that's important to be able to give your offense that opportunity.
Kyle Boland, we haven't touched on him much as throughout the course tonight. Give me your sense on him through 3 games, the things that he's doing well, what you like about him with the operation of your offense.
Well, the best thing that Kyle brings is leadership, and I really appreciate his preparation for games. He really pays attention to detail, invests a lot of time on film study, invests a lot of time with Coach Keel trying to understand the game plan. So I really got a strong appreciation for his preparation and the time he invested to get ready. And then the leadership that he provides, he's calm. He's even keeled and never gets too high, never gets too low, regardless of what happens out there on the field. And I think when you're that type of a player, you're going to improve, and that's just the way Kyle is. It's not about losing his confidence or being overconfident. It's just about focused on the process and getting better every single day and providing the leadership that a quarterback needs to provide.
And as you talk about the leadership, the guys voted him captain right away, coming in and being a first-year guy. But knowing that Jonathan Lewis is going in there with certain packages, how important is it for him to be able to accept that Jonathan's going to come in for a certain package that we may need and that I got to come off the field for a few plays or so?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been the plan for a while, and Kyle's known about that plan. And what I really like about Kyle is he's selfless, and he's doing everything he can to help Jonathan prepare so his opportunities, when they come, he can take advantage of them. And that's really a great asset to have in that room is an older veteran type of player like Kyle that's been around and knows what it takes to be successful, to teach a younger player like Jonathan all the tricks of the trade and how you have to go about doing your business. And that's a great asset. And Kyle just embraces that role, and he knows Jonathan's got a different skill set, and Jonathan brings something different to the offense, and he understands that, and he embraces that, and his job is to help Jonathan be the best he can be too.
Dave checking in on Twitter. Once again, you can tweet us your questions at Rutgers Radio. Coach, Everett Wormley is a guy that we see on the field an awful lot but haven't heard much about. What do you like about your young receiver?
What I like about him is just his toughness. He's a gritty player, tough player. Comes to work every single day and works really, really hard. When we had our recruiting class signed last February, very few people were probably talking about Everett Wormley, and here he is as a true freshman out there trying to help us win football games. He hasn't had a ton of production yet, but it'll come because of the way he works, and I think he's going to be an outstanding football player for us. He's playing on some special teams. He ran down on Kickoff the other day. I love the kid, just got a smile on his face and loves the game.
What strikes me about a lot of these younger receivers, and I kind of think back to Leonte Carew in his freshman year. At some point, it kind of seems like for receivers in particular, when you're young, the light just seems to go on where, not that you don't understand what's going on, but you really take it to that next level. And that was something that we saw with him. And you watch Bo and you watch Everett, you watch these guys, you get the feeling that that's coming. Not too far away, maybe.
Well, I hope they're the next Leonte Carew.
It wouldn't be too bad.
No, if we had a couple of those, you're putting them in high praise there and putting
well,
them in
just
company.
Comparing similarly.
No, I'm kidding. It's wishful thinking. If they can continue to develop and improve and work the game like Leonte, I'm sure did, and they can become that type of a player, we'll have some pretty good skill players here down the road.
And at one point during the game last week, I remember I took a look back at the field, and you see Jonathan Lewis out there, you see Blackshear, you see Bo Melton, you see everyone, like you can see the future right in front of you. Can you kind of explain to what type of receiver is a Bo Melton? You just explained what Everett Wormley brings, that tough grittiness to the table. There's somebody like Bo Melton. He looked like he could take a top off of a defense the other day when he blew past that one-on-one coverage on the outside.
Yeah, that's what we hope he can do. He has a skill set to do that. He was a track star. Wasn't just a track runner, he was a track star in high school, and he's got tremendous speed. And as we continue to go forward, we have to continue to find ways to get the ball in his hands and let him utilize that speed out there on game day and let it show and help put the ball in the end zone. But I love both those guys. I love Hunter Hayek. He's a different. You look at Hunter, you look at Everett, you look at Bo Melton. Those are three true freshmen that are playing for us right now. They're all three different. They all three. They're built different. They run different. They understand the offense differently. But I think they're all three going to be outstanding players for us.
One more timeout. We'll finish up with some final thoughts on Rutgers and Nebraska in moments as we continue on this week's edition, live at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison, New Jersey, of The Chris Ash Show.
When Samantha was in dire need of a new heart, she turned to RWJ Barnabas Health, who performs more adult heart transplants than any healthcare system on the East Coast.
I'm still here.
Jean cherishes every moment spent with her great-grandkids, thanks to our kidney transplant program that ranks among the nation's top 10.
Still here.
Robert promised his granddaughter he'd make it to her next birthday. Thanks to New Jersey's only lung transplant center, he did.
I'm not going anywhere.
From corneal and pancreatic transplants to heart, kidney, and lung, Our patients aren't who they used to be. They're better. Learn more about our transplant centers at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center, St. Barnabas Medical Center, and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Visit rwjbh.org/transplant. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source. TickCity.com. That's TIXCITY.com.
Couple of minutes left with the Rutgers head coach, Chris Ash, on this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison. Exciting this week to open up Big Ten play, and it is like a new season in a lot of ways. You can really start fresh, and you have an opportunity to go on the road for the first time. Just give me your thoughts about your football team as you've gotten past the non-conference part of your schedule.
Well, I really like the way our football team has improved. I'm disappointed in the 1-2 record. That's not what we wanted, but I can tell you this, we're a lot better football team right now. And I see it on film, I see it at practice. It looks different, feels different. The attitude is different, the work ethic is different. And we just got to keep focused on improvement. That's really what it's about. The wins will come if we just keep grinding away and keep getting better every day. And stay focused on our football team, ourselves, our brotherhood, our fundamentals, our effort, and just our preparation. We'll continue to get better, and that's really what it is. We want to be able to play our best football games and our best football as we go through the season. That's our focus.
And Coach, we talked a little bit about Nebraska's offense and and some things that they struggle with there. But can you talk about the defense? I know Bob Diaco has them switching from like a 4-3 to a 3-4. Can you talk about what you've seen on the defensive side from them? Yeah, they're big and physical up front. That's kind of a Nebraska trademark to their defenses, that they are big on the D-line. They're physical on the D-line. They play a little unique style of defense. It's they drop a lot. They drop 8 in the coverage a lot and rush 3 guys, and that's a little bit unique based on the amount of reps that they do. That they do it a ton. So that's a different challenge, different set of challenges. But they got a big physical D-line. They run well in the back 7. They drop 8 a lot, and they take away a lot of throws that you typically get against some defenses because of that. So. The preparation's a little bit different. The challenges are a little bit different, and we're going to need to continue to run the ball and find ways to have more balance in our offense to have success.
Well, Coach, listen, best of luck this week, and hopefully you get a win out on the road in Nebraska and open up the Big Ten schedule in style.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Again, we're just focused on ourselves and our improvement. And, our challenge is to go out and play the best game we have so far this year, and if we can do that, then we'll have success. Good luck, Coach. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Want to remind everybody that this week's game is at 3:30. It will be on BTN as Rutgers takes on Nebraska out in Lincoln on Saturday afternoon. Want to thank everybody involved in our broadcast tonight. Our producer, engineer, Paul Schrager. Of course, on RVision, Colin Osborne, along with Tim DeMartin, helped get it done. And Jimmy Gill and Hasim Phillips from our Rutgers Sports Information Department. For Eric LeGrand and the coach, Chris Ash, this is Chris Carlin speaking. Once again, reminding you, join us this coming Saturday on the Rutgers Radio Network and on BTN as the Scarlet Knights take on Nebraska in the Big Ten opener. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks for joining us.
You You've been listening to The Chris Ash Show on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Join us throughout the season from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison to hear from the head football coach of the Scarlet Knights. The Chris Ash Show has been brought to you by The Chris Ash Show.